In the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, it is said, quote, "If a bodhisattva practices in terms of form, he is practicing with respect to a characteristic of things. If he practices in terms of the arising of form, he is practicing with respect to a characteristic. If he practices in terms of the cessation of form, he is practicing with respect to a characteristic. If he practices in terms of the abandonment of form, he is practicing with respect to a characteristic. If he practices in terms of the emptiness of form, he is practicing with respect to a characteristic. If he thinks, I am performing this practice, then this practicing is a characteristic." Close quote. The same reasoning is then applied to the other four constituents, up to consciousness. It will be observed that the reference is made to arising and cessation, which are perhaps the two most fundamental categories in terms of which Buddhists understand the phenomenal world. Then to abandonment, which is the spiritual value most evidently counterbalancing the problem of attachment. Then to emptiness, which is the most famous badge of perfection of insight thinking. And then to the very thought of one's practicing, a practice at all. Finally, the matter is related to Prajnaparamita and Skillful Means. Quote, "If he has the idea that one who practices like this is practicing Prajnaparamita, then this practicing is at the level of characteristics. One should know this bodhisattva to be one not yet well acquainted with skillful means." Close quote. The meaning of this is that the Buddhist analysis of experience into its various factors is all very well, but that the spiritual discipline of internalizing this analysis, of making it one's own, can alas go quite astray. The mistake is to get stuck in a perpetual review of the various characteristics of experience, even including the difficult and necessary ones, such as voidness. Self-consciously rehearsing these is simply to walk about on the surface of the matter. It might seem important to maintain most carefully ideas like the five constituents of individual experience, that is, the skandhas, in order to ward off the thought of a permanent soul, and then, indeed, to entertain the idea of the voidness of these five constituents from form to consciousness as announced most famously in the Heart Sutra. What is required above all, however, is to make use of some such account of things while not settling in it, not striving to maintain it, and not rehearsing it. Even emptiness can come to be taken as a characteristic. What is required is that the bodhisattva knows the emptiness of form while contemporaneously freeing himself from the concept which induces this knowledge. This demands the application of skillful means. That is to say, truly practicing the perfection of insight demands knowing characteristics as means. Otherwise, however systematically they are pursued, the practicing remains at the level of mere characteristics without turning them to spiritual advantage. The same principle is expounded with respect to merit. For the correct transformation of merit into full enlightenment requires both the recognition of a pattern of merit and freedom from seeing it in terms of characteristics. It requires, in fact, the combination known as Prajnaparamita, skillful means. The argument is rather spread out, but in summary it means that the merit is no longer to be weighed in terms of the particular actions which originally seemed to be its justification. All meritorious actions are, so to speak, equidistant from enlightenment. When this recognition is internalized through the practice of insight and skillful means, it is termed the Great Transformation. Thus, quote, "This transformation achieved by a bodhisattva is called the Great Transformation. Because of skillful means, it outweighs the merit which can be achieved by a bodhisattva's cultivation of giving, that is, the first perfection. Why? Because this transformation achieved by a bodhisattva is what is ensured by Prajnaparamita." Close quote.